Good morning. I am naturopathic physician Lauren Latanza, and today we have Tony Kasandrinos. Tony founded Kasandrinos International in 2012 as a native of Rochester, New York. He spent a good portion of his childhood in his father's village in Niata, Greece. After creating this company, he asked his sister Effie to create a partnership to bring their olive oil to the world. Tony currently resides in Santa Rosa Beach with his wife, Angela. In his free time, he loves traveling, being outdoors, and spending time around the table with friends and family. We're so fortunate to have him here today. Welcome to our live episode on Facebook today, Tony Kasandrinos.
Thank you for having me.
So I am a huge fan myself of the Kasandrinos olive oil, huge health benefits, as we know, which we will certainly get to. But I really wanted to kind of start by talking about the origin of your company. I think you've got a really great story. So if you want to elaborate on that for us.
Yep. Well, it started generations ago back in Greece. My grandparents and great-grandparents and way down the line before that have always been harvesting olives, like most people in Greece. When I was younger, we were always around olives. It was always very plentiful. We never really thought much of it. It just was basically the foundation of every meal. Fast forward back to America. When I was 18 years old, I went off to the military and did that for about 22 years. But halfway through my career, I was sharing some of our family olive oil. My dad would bring back a few pallets every year. We generally sold the majority of the olive oil we pressed in Greece in bulk, but we bring enough over for our family and friends. So I was sharing it with some of my friends at a CrossFit gym I was training at, and they kept buying more and more to the point where I became like an olive oil dealer out of the trunk of my car. I got stationed I was in Philly. I got stationed down in Texas, and all my friends were like, "We still want to keep buying your olive oil." So I was like, "I don't really have a business like that." But I decided, okay, I'll make a website so I can still share our olive oil with our friends. They can go and buy it and I'll ship it to them. Because it got kind of expensive just handing it out for free.
Right.
And then a few months later, it was kind of snowballing to like people I didn't know were buying it because just word of mouth. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm onto like a business here. I didn't really have a lot of time. I was getting ready to deploy and it was just very busy and I didn't really know much about business other than growing up in the restaurant industry with my parents. But the e-commerce thing was kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to my sister Effie and I was like, do you want to do a little side business with me? And we kind of did that, branded it with our last name, called it international because our big goal was eventually to get it all over the world to people. So we pretty much started it sharing it with friends, and we kind of always take that approach still. Like it's us sharing our olive oil and giving people like a slice of Greece because it's the closest thing we can really do if they can't visit. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did.
Awesome. I love that because it just really caught on because like you said, you have a couple of friends that try this and it's like, this isn't what I buy off the shelves. That's
Yeah,
not what this tastes like. Yeah.
definitely. No, we always tell people whenever they try it for the first time, like try it next to whatever's currently in your kitchen, like because you'll see the difference right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I told you just before we hopped on, I'm like, it has this almost like acidity to it.
Hmm.
And you can maybe explain why that is that I noticed that.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that has to do with the freshness of it. There's a lot of really great olive oils in America. Unfortunately, due to the distribution process and the way it's sold, especially in stores, it sits around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have it all comes from one source in Greece and it's all organic. Actually the whole valley that our olive oil comes from is organic. So you're not getting pesticides from other farms around you. But when it all comes down to it, the biggest problem in this country is getting fresh olive oil. So we wanted to like not go into grocery stores and get it right to our customers as soon as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
we bring it over on a quarterly basis. And yeah,
That's
that's really what really makes a difference outside of having a quality product.
Yeah. Well, and how is it that you get such a high quality product? Because I know that you don't use tractors to take the tree,
Yeah.
so it improves the fruit, which improves the end product. So maybe walk us through a little bit about how the sourcing and the process is so important too.
Yeah. Well, one thing is like our trees are indigenous to that area. That's kind of something other places are running into, whether it's Southern California or Mexico or South America, China. The trees aren't really from there. So they're trying to grow them in a faster manner, especially because they're going to fruit faster. So they water them more, they spray them with pesticides. Our trees are hundreds, if not thousands of years old. They last forever. They've been growing that way for well before you or I were even born. Most of our trees are well over 100 years old.
Wow.
So they grew up without, getting watered daily, which will make them fruit faster. It's just now they're reliant on all that water for the rest of their lives. Um, and people spray pesticides on them, which is a never-ending cycle of not good things. So just the soil, the trees themselves. Then when you go to the actual harvesting process, we handpick all our olives. It takes a lot longer. It's more expensive,
Yeah.
but you get a much better harvest. Your fruit isn't bruised because in traditional, conventional olive farming, they'll drive tractors over the trees. It'll vibrate the trees, knock all the olives off, but they're really bruised in that process. And it takes a while to get them from the field to the actual mill where you're processing them to turn them into olive oil. So you don't want bruised fruit sitting around in usually a warm temperature.
Yeah.
So we hand pick them, and right away they go from the field. It's pretty much like a nonstop conveyor belt. They go from the tree right to the truck, down to the mill, and then they're getting pressed right away.
That's so cool. And I
So,
mean, if we think about it, like I'm certainly not a farmer, but it
mhm,
makes sense. You don't want your fruit sitting on the ground, kind
exactly,
of decaying and rotting, and then turning it into something that we're ideally
exactly.
using for health and nutrition.
Yeah, so there's a lot of steps involved in it. It all comes from like when the tree started its life,
Mhm.
um, and the pesticides. Because at the end of the day, olive oil is a fruit juice, like an olive's a fruit.
Yeah.
So when you're spraying these trees, where does that go? It goes right into the olive, which goes
Yeah.
right into the olive oil, and then people think that, oh, I'm getting a great healthy product. Meanwhile, it's full of whatever it was sprayed with.
That's yeah, there's no healthy level of pesticides to ingest.
No.
It's not good for us. I think we should know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we can talk about some of the health benefits of olive oil and I mean, like I said, we could write a book on this.
We definitely could. I mean, it's the one cool thing about olive oil. It's been around for thousands of years, and in I guess in Greece, it was always looked at as a medicine, not just a food. I mean, we use it for everything, and in the past, it was used for literally a lot of things. I find new things every day, but yeah, and even now, when it's fresh, like when it's pressed like that day, it's literally like a bright green. It's like a neon green, and the locals call it medicine. It's not even called olive oil. Like that's
Yeah.
medicine, translated. So with that, it's been studied, and there's been numerous tests done, um, and you could like research brain health, heart health, cancer,
Yeah.
diabetes, and there's multiple studies where olive oil helps either prevent or cure these things.
Yeah.
So there's really no one thing. I mean, I think incorporating it into your diet and having it as a foundation to your diet, um, it really helps your overall health, not
Yeah.
just one specific thing.
Yeah.
And anyone who's been to Greece, especially not Athens or Mykonos or Santorini, the touristy places, but if you actually go out into the villages, like where the local Greeks live, you'll notice 80, 90, 100-year-olds who are very, not just alive, but very able-bodied and generally in better shape than a lot of 40, 50-year-old Westerners.
Yeah.
So I do 100% believe that olive oil is the foundation of this healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
There's definitely other things that go into play as far as less stress and walking and moving a lot more.
Of course.
But anyone will notice after being in Greece for a very short time that olive oil is in everything.
Yeah.
Every food item will have olive oil in it, and if it doesn't, you're probably dunking or dipping that thing into olive oil.
Yeah. Well, and much lesser rates of cardiovascular disease.
Oh
Like you
yeah,
said, these elderly individuals are still very vibrant and they're not,
oh yeah,
carrying around the bags of pharmaceuticals like we see here in the States because they know that food is medicine and
oh yeah,
medicine is olive oil and vice versa.
yeah. No, it's definitely most people notice it right away. Like you just it's because we just don't see it that way here. You think like 70, 75, it's like you're old, where in
Yeah.
Greece you still got another 25, 30 years to go once you hit 75. And it's normal there. It's like not, I mean, my grandmother had 8 siblings, and I think all of them but one lived to 100.
Wow.
Some of them are still alive and living on their
Yeah.
own, you know.
Well, yeah, and it's like genetics plus a healthy, nutritious diet and
Mhm.
walking, getting out in the sunshine, kind of,
Oh yeah.
that Mediterranean way of life that should be
Yeah.
pretty standard just for humans in general.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely different.
Yeah, well, and back to, getting rid of like some pharmaceuticals and so on, it's like increasing these monounsaturated fats, which is the predominant fatty acid
Mhm.
in olives, really is beneficial in increasing the good cholesterol, so increasing your HDL, which having low HDL is a standalone risk factor just of anything else. And then it also, helps bring down the oxidation in the body by having these really potent omega-3s and antioxidants in
Mhm.
this. So it's just things that go out on treatment plans from me all day, every day, wrapped up in literally one bottle.
Yeah, no, it's definitely I love sharing it, with people for that reason. Outside of like the good taste,
Mhm.
I love being able to help people with it and
Mhm.
just share our product with them.
Yeah.
So
Well, we're glad that there are people out there that are doing it right, just like you, and getting it out to the world. And, even if it starts
Mhm.
with just giving something to your friend, that's kind of a word of mouth. I think that's awesome and probably the best way to get things going.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So I think that we have to be concerned about, of course, the shipping, the process of getting the olive oil, but then we have to be concerned about storing the olive oil because it can go bad, as you
Yep.
said, by getting things on store shelves. It's been there for a long time. It can go rancid. So what's the best way to store extra virgin olive oil?
Definitely in a cool, dark place. Like
Mhm,
kitchen cabinet is fine as long as you're not leaving the heat on
mhm,
insane. But that you don't want it in the light, especially if you live in the desert like Arizona or
mhm.
Vegas, where half of our family lives. But so as much as we'd love people to like have our olive oil on their countertop or on their kitchen table, it's definitely best to keep it in the cupboard,
Okay.
or just a really, and we use very dark glass with our
Mhm.
bottles, but you still want to keep it indoor, hidden.
Yeah.
um, the other thing, so as I said, olive oil will oxidize, just like any fruit juice over time. The things that do that are light, air. So once you do crack the seal, we have a 2-year best before date on that bottle, and that's from the date that stuff was pressed,
Cool.
not when it was bottled. Um,
Checking my bottle.
yeah, it's on the back.
Date
So
produced 12/21. So I've got until December 23.
yep, that was our winter harvest of this year. Um, the the actual bottle, once you crack it, we tell our customers 12 months though. So even though it's good for 2 years, and it's still edible after 2 years, it's totally fine. It's not going to hurt you. In fact, it'll probably stay good for about 3 to 4 years, depending on if it was sealed the whole time. But it has lost a lot of its antioxidants,
Mhm.
and its acidity level has changed. It might not even, after about 4 years, it probably wouldn't even be considered an extra virgin anymore.
Okay.
Um, so you do lose all the high polyphenols and antioxidants over time. They
Mhm.
do start degrading after about 12 months.
Yeah.
Um, so that's one thing to really be aware of. And that's really kind of what is not the greatest thing about how olive oil is sold in America. Generally, if you're getting a really high quality oil off a grocery store shelf, unfortunately, it's been sitting under the lights for as long as it's been there.
Mhm.
It's probably at least a year old, so you're not really getting the
Yeah.
highest quality product.
So then being extra virgin, can maybe elaborate on what qualifies a product as extra virgin?
It's the acidity level.
Oh, okay.
So, and that it's cold pressed. Cold pressed just means that during the processing of olive to oil, it didn't reach over 88 Fahrenheit during that process. Um, and that's actually a pretty simple old school process that's still done. It's just done with machines now instead of donkeys and big stones like it was way back in the day. Um, but the acidity level is 0.08 or below is extra virgin. So you might have an extra virgin that's just under that threshold, but over time it will go up.
Get it
So
on a store shelf under some fluorescent lighting and.
yeah, well, they do a chemical analysis and just see exactly what the level is. And we do a chemical analysis like on every batch in Greece and in the U.S. and then match it to the batch number, which is also on the bottle, and post it so people could see what the actual all the polyphenols are and everything. But that will change from harvest to harvest a little bit. But we're generally on the very low side, probably as low as you can really get, but that will change over time. It does with time. So that's why we're try to be as transparent with our customers as possible. Like, hey, as much as we'd love for you to buy a lot of it and like stock up, you're best off not doing that.
Buy it and hand it out to your friends and family instead.
Yeah, get it, yeah, or that. But get it, consume it, and then get more. Don't just like get a ton of it and just store it.
Maybe we can talk about a little bit because as time goes on, you do decrease the amount of polyphenols, correct?
Oh yeah, by far, yeah.
We can talk a little bit about what's actually the health benefits of polyphenols. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Again, that's kind of one of those things. Again, it's like a limitless. I mean, it's really. There's been so many studies on like it's almost like every ailment possible. It's almost like this wonder food.
Right.
Superfood that's been used for generations, and the thing is the really important thing is just to get it to you where it's at its peak instead of not to get too much into it, but a lot of these companies, what they'll do is they'll buy different age olive oils from different farmers. So when it's bottled, that's the date it goes on bottle, but that might be 2-year-old olive oil already. Not bad, it's still edible, but it's 2 years old right now. So by the time you get it on your kitchen counter, if you bought it in a store, you might have a blend of this year's harvest, 2 years ago's harvest, and now you're like just not getting that high quality of a product, especially if you're doing it for health benefits. I've got a lot of customers who specifically buy our olive oil for the health benefits. And it's like, that's kind of another reason why we put our last name on the bottle to always remind us, no matter how big we get, I would never want to get big enough to where I'm not offering somebody like the highest quality medicine or
absolutely. Absolutely. And so we talk a lot about, we look at oxidized LDL on most of our patients' labs and, it's a cholesterol molecule that's essentially like rusty. If you've got a lot of oxidation in your body, it's, I think, very similar to like an oxidized olive oil, for example. But having a lot of polyphenols, a lot of antioxidants, polyphenols, antioxidants kind of go simultaneously. But having those high amounts of polyphenols and antioxidants in your diet really helps combat the otherwise oxidizing process of things that just kind of, environmental chemicals, so on, constantly bombarded by. So keeping our defenses up, keeping the oxidation low. All very important.
And that's and with that, and that's why we're always like telling our customers, like, even if you don't buy our olive oil, always look for an organic. I mean, there's been times where I'm traveling or even I've ran out at home by myself. And if I do go pick up another olive oil, because it's kind of like wine where different olive oils taste different and it's not one or the other. Like, this is the greatest oil in the world. Like, there's a lot of great ones out there. But the first and foremost thing you should be looking for is an organic, because all those positive things about it, if you're also ingesting pesticide residue, it's like, what's the point? And unfortunately, most of the olive oil on this planet is not organic, just like most of the food. I mean, it's kind of we could say the same thing about chickens or
Mhm.
or any vegetable or fruit.
Yeah.
So, whether you're buying ours or someone else's, first and foremost thing is really get an organic product that
Mhm.
is not going to do more harm than good.
Right.
And yeah,
I was going to ask, what's your favorite way to use extra virgin olive oil?
hands down Greek salad,
All right.
which is tomatoes, cucumbers, some green peppers, a little bit of onion. My wife likes a lot of onion, and then feta cheese and Greek olives, Kalamata olives, and then just drown it in olive oil.
Sounds delicious. So like by the spoonful.
Yeah,
What
definitely.
what new plans can we expect from Kasandrinos to come on the horizon?
Huh. So we're a small team. We're all family in the team. Um, we are adding some other products. We added a soap that's made with our olive oil, and probably gonna do a few more skincare products that are olive oil based. So
Mhm.
again, we look at skincare the same way we do food. I mean, the skin's your biggest organ, and
Yeah.
most people are putting chemicals all over it. So we do want to give them an extra healthy olive based option. We probably will be bringing over some herbs and spices from Greece,
Mhm.
probably starting with oregano and salt in the very near future. And then
Cool.
we're also going to be moving into Europe for direct to consumer
Good.
sales.
Good. Very good. All good things on the horizon.
Yeah.
And mentioning the skincare, there have been a number of times where, like you said, I mean, rather than running to the drugstore or something and purchasing, some not very good, moisturizer or
Mm.
lotion or what have you, just grab a really good quality olive oil. And I tell patients this all the time, like you're
Yeah.
better off just slathering your body in olive oil,
Oh, yeah.
good, high quality, organic. So like
Yeah.
Cassie knows, absolutely. I mean, just the fatty acid profile, the antioxidants, hugely beneficial and arguably, better than the majority of the products that you'd find at
Oh,
a
yeah.
drugstore anyway.
Yeah. I was talking, so I'm the only guy on our team. It's all women. So, I was talking to Efrosini, who's my cousin, but also our graphic designer and a web page builder. And we were talking about a face cleanser. We were talking about making one, and we're like, well, we already have it. Like it exists already. So it's like, okay, do we just repackage the
I
olive
know.
oil?
You
It's
just
like, it's
use
already what it is,
out.
Yeah. I mean, and the uses are just like unlimited, just like makeup remover,
Yeah,
just things like
absolutely.
that. And it's like instead of using all these harmful things on your body, we
Yeah.
want to either just educate people that hey, just use olive oil or some other really healthy oils, or just kind of stay away from the bad stuff.
Exactly. Well, and that's what, I think keeping it simple is a really just good approach to health and wellness as it is. So if you have
Mm.
just a couple of really good products that are really high quality, then that's kind of, I think, a good foundation. So you have to have those foundational pieces. And I think a high quality organic olive oil is just that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Well, Kasandrinos has been very generous in offering a discount code that will be shared with our 100-year Heart Challenge participants. So there will be a discount code that goes out when the challenge starts in May. So if you go ahead and sign up, I'll go ahead and post the link to sign up for our 100-year Heart Challenge in the comment section. So go ahead, sign up. There's all kinds of information that's going to be coming along with that to get to your 100-year heart. Olive oil is definitely, like I said, a foundational component of that. So you're not going to want to miss the discount code. I will post a link, but if you go to naturalheartdoctor.com/Kasandrinos, that's Kasandrinos, you can get the link directly to buy from their site. So I suggest you get started and join our 100-year Heart Challenge. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Tony. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope we'll get you back on here and we can chat more about polyphenols and fatty
Definitely,
acids.
definitely for sure.
Well, thank you again, and I hope you all have a great start to this week, and we look forward to seeing you in the 100-year Heart Challenge.